Auto Plus Feslapai, tai yra lenktynės, reivas, festivalis, merginos, automobiliai.
Niekada ten nebuvusiam žmogui turbūt nelabai ryšiai suprasti, kas ten tvyro ore.
Man širdžiai mieliausias renginys, kokiam aš esu dalyvavęs savo gyvenime. Kažkas pradėjo staigiai, stipriai daužytis ir tai tą akimirką tai atrodo kaip perkūnas iš giedro dangaus ir labiausiai buvo gaila galbūt komandas, kad tiek darbo įdėjom, atvažiavom ir galbūt čia bus tokia pabaiga.
Nuėmus ratą, pasimatė visa bėda. Atsisukę yra pusašio varžtai, ten viskas išsitaškė, tepalų nerasta, dėžė, žioja tokia skylė.
Atėjo Ignas ir pasakė, kad vyrai turim 6 valandas, tai per tiek laiko galim nuversti kalnus. Ačiū Dievui, mums mąstymas pagelbėjo ir mes tempėm automobilį pas juos.
Jau praktiškai nukelinėjant pavarų dėžę, paaiškėjo, kad jos negalime ištraukti, nes rėmėsi į subframe'ą. Kol Vaidas virino, aš sukiau varžtus ir dėjau atgal pavarų dėžę. Tuo metu komandos inžinierius Dainius taisė sriegius, taip pat Vaidas padarė plokštumas ir lėkėm pilna to žodžio prasme į kačergą.
Susikrovė visi daiktus, bėgom ją pasitikti ir pamatyti ir užvesti.
Dar nemačiau, kad taip greit surinktume visą automobilio priekį, buvo žaibiškai viskas susukta, bet viską spėjom, užpylėm kuro, dar spėjom ir padangas pasirinkti, kurias geresnės.
Pats faktas, kad mūsų pirmųjų kvalifikacijų metu lyjant stipriam lietui tarp tikrai galingų varžovų iškovojom 1. vietą, neleido nuleisti rankų. Tai tokios lenktynėse tikrai negali nestartuoti. nežinau, kur esam, kokioje pozicijoje ir pamačiau jų visas jau reakcijas ir daužymą per kapotą, jau buvo viskas aišku, kad atidirbom. Ypatingai Verstappen dienos istorija, būtent kaip mums jį prasidėjo, kaip jinai nukrito, nuo kur mes atsispyrėm ir ką mes pasiekėm. Tai turbūt buvo didžiausias vainikas, kokį mes galėjom išregzti savo rankomis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second round of the BaTCC racing series, where the fastest sim racing aces rival the real drivers for the one win and the grand prize. The second round Febi Champions League Grand Prix held at Nemuno Žiedas, a track near Kaunas city. That is 3.3 kilometers in length, and the first race was held in the year of 1960. The track record belongs to Dainius Matijošaitis, who managed to drive a blazingly fast lap of 1 minute 10 seconds and 126 thousandths of it. Our main sponsor for this event is Febi, and a little bit info about them. Febi brand belongs to the 7th generation family-run group company which headquarters are located in Germany. The brand is being represented by 21 international subsidiaries and agencies in more than 70 countries, and its products can be found in 10 warehouse locations in 8 countries. The patented spring bolt, introduced in 1921, became the reference product of the company, and the Febi brand name that still exists today was registered in 1923. Now, some important info about the brand. Febi specializes in the areas of steering and suspension, rubber to metal and engine management, both in the passenger car and commercial vehicle segments. For a second year in a row, Febi cooperates with Scuba Racing Team and is the main sponsor of Džiugas Stovilavičius, the driver who will join today's grid as a wild card. So please bear in mind the information that I have just told. We will be giving some prizes out to the lucky winners who will answer a question that will be asked a little bit later. The practice session is underway, and let's take a quick look right now at the championship standings as they are after the first round, which was run on a Latvian circuit Bikernieki racetrack, and it was won by the driver Karolis Jovaiša, who apparently is leading the championship with 25 points. The driver from Poland, Damian Lempart, stands in the second place because he was the winner of the second division. Third place is Ernestas Andrijauskas, with Tadas Gedminas and Simonas Urbonas running right behind him. You can see the table on your screens right now. And don't forget to vote for your favorite drivers, and please let us know in the comments section who are you cheering for. So enough with the talking, and I say we jump straight into the circuit where we can see the results of the ongoing practice session of the beautiful Kaunas of the beautiful track that is located near Kaunas, Nemuno Žiedas. You can see the first chicane section, which is a little bit different in the virtual track that was built by a Lithuanian guy, so cheers for him. And as usual, we see two Lithuanians out in front, Karolis Jovaiša and Edvinas Žadeikis. Karolis Jovaiša won both runnings 2 weeks ago, which was the qualifying session and the race, and he continues to astonish us with his performance. We have Thomas Halonen, who is currently in 4th position, and you can see that the times are pretty close together, although the leading man is with a nice time of 1 minute 11 and 3, and he has a better result than anyone else. The practice session time is already running out, and we are getting ready for the race, for the qualifying session. Excuse me for that. And we have a crash between Tomas Halonen and Džiugas Tovilavičius. We have a edited pit entry, which differs from the real track because, well, there would be no way to enter the pit lane if the track layout was made original. We need the pit entrance for the drivers to make the pit stop that is needed. We have Andrius Šliumba, who is currently in 7th place. He is the guy, one of the 5 guys that were promoted from the division number 2. And let me try and make the results screens a little bit bigger so everyone could see it more clearly. Should be okay. And there it was, the practice session is already over. Let's check quickly the results. Karolis Jovaišas stands first, so one more win for this driver. Tauras Gudinavičius second. He had a very strong performance 2 weeks ago, but with some pit stop failure he did not manage to finish as high as possible. Edvinas Žadeikis is third. Kasparas Vaškelis, a nice result from the real driver, a very young and talented driver. He currently is 4th, and Tomas Halonen, driver from Finland, did manage to make a lap for the position number 5. Let's wait a couple of seconds for the qualifying session, and we will be able to ride along with the fastest guys of the BaTCC series. Not everyone is trying to be quick to enter the track, although it is crucial. Of course, we have enough time for let's say about 7 or 8 flying laps, so it's not that crucial for these drivers to try and be as fast on the first running lap. Of course, the position when and where you enter the track during qualifying session is very important. You want to have the track clear in front of you so nobody would disturb the pace that you may run. And we already see that Tauras Gudinavičius is eager to take that position. He overtakes Davidas Šmigelskis and takes the first spot in front of the field to try and lead it and to try and take and win the pole position for the febi League of Champions Grand Prix. This is the warm-up lap, but it's very crucial. You want to get the tire temperatures up as soon as possible because it's very crucial for a fast lap to be made. Tauras Gudinavičius starts the run. You can see the guys using the whole width of track and even a little bit more. That's how fast they are, and they are eager to be as good as possible. Okay, let's take the moment for our quiz. There are a prize prepared for one viewer or commentator to answer the prize, and the prize is given by our sponsors, febi. So please write one answer to the comment section of the World Sim Series Facebook fan page found on Facebook. Which area does the febi brand specialize in the vehicle segments? So please write an answer, and there will be one winner picked out, and I will announce him at the end of the stream or after the race, and the winner will be picked out randomly, so everyone has a nice chance to win a pack of febi prizes. I hope you will have fun answering the questions, and let's move on with our qualifying session where we already see the results. And the winner of the last round, or of the first round, Karolis Jovaiša, is demonstrating his blazing performance one more time. He's currently standing in first position. We can see that Tauras Gudinavičius is with a strategy of shooting one or maximum two fast flying laps. He stopped near the track to get back to pits, change his tires and start it all over again. It means that he is running on low fuel. We can see that Karolis Jovaiša decides exactly the same, because he was stuck behind a slower driver, so there's no point to try and drive fast when you have someone in front of you. Let's see how this young guy performs. Kasparas Vaškelis, the Dream to Drive driver, and he is currently in third position. So that's a nice result from this young Lithuanian who is used, and he knows this track from real world. I'm sure he made more than one test or runs on this track, and he manages to better his result. He jumps into second place, and that's a nice driving. He's still 3/10 short, but there's still much time left for this qualifying session. The driver from Finland, Tuomas Halonen, shows us some nice performance. We missed this guy a little bit in the Bikernieki racetrack in the first Grand Prix, although he managed to drive a nice lap in the pre-qualifying session. He was nowhere to be seen in the top 10 at the first round, which we hope he will get better this time. We have another wildcard in this race, so we have two guest drivers for this event. The drivers come from real world, of course, and the second wildcard is Mick Matten, and he is the 2018 4 hours champion with GSR Motorsport team in the BaTCC Bets 4 Hour Race Championship, and a vice champion of the 6-hour endurance races of the year 2019 with the team Flash Racing, who drives a nice and phenomenal Lamborghini car. And how about our other wild card? Oh, and in the meanwhile, Edvinas Žadeikis just blazes through the finish line, and he jumps into first position. So the driver from Manul Racing team betters his lap time, and he's doing what he needs to do. He is willing and trying all his best to start the race from pole position, because he admitted that the failure of the first race was mainly because he lost the qualifying session. So I think that the qualifying session is much more important in this race, because the Nemuno Žiedo racetrack is very unique and very different from most racetracks, and it's pretty hard to do nice and easy overtakes here, so the qualifying session is very, very crucial at this point, and the guys are trying their best to finish the qualifying session as high as possible. I still cannot see the results of our second wildcard driver, Džiugas Tovilavičius. Let's take a look at another table point. We have 19 drivers, and Džiugas Tovilavičius is currently shown in 18th place, and he did not manage to run a clean lap. That's why we do not see him in the results. So let's wait and see how he manages to run the qualifying session, and we'll discuss a little bit more about him. We have Simonas Urbonas, and he is the first one of the drivers that chose to drive a Porsche GT4 car for this race, and his lap time is pretty good. He's only 10 100ths of a second slower than the 5th place Thomas Halonen, so that's a nice result. And the 2nd place finisher of first round Division 1, Ernestas Andrijauskas, is currently in 2nd position, and he's almost matching the time of Simonas Urbonas, being slower only by 1,000th of a second. So these guys may still drive better laps, and let's wait and see. We still have a lot of time left for this qualifying session, which I already told it's very crucial to drive as fast as possible, because during the race there will not be many chances to overtake other drivers. It will be pretty hard, and it's easier for the ones that are defending. And as we are used to seeing these Porsche cars make very great starts, this might not be the case in this race, because we have first corner just right after the start and finish line, and we have a lead change. Karolis Jovišas strikes back, so there's nothing that can stop this guy from trying and being the first one. I'm not sure I have ever seen someone drive as fast as Karolis just did on this track with a TCR car. So I'm not sure where he finds this parts of seconds, but he manages to do that very greatly, and as soon as someone passes him, he always finds the performance. And Edvinas Žadeikis is running a little bit slower at this moment, although there's one more corner to go, the chicane. And I think that was the outlap of him. I'm not sure. He's shown as 7400ths of a second slower than the lead man, so that's still not enough, although both of the leaders have a nice gap over 3rd place Tauras Gudinavičius, but we can still see some nice performance from this young driver, who is the winner of a Dream to Drive championship that was held in the year 2019, and he has some performance on real racetracks, and he for sure knows Nemuno Žiedas racetrack very well. Kasparas Vuškelis is still running 4th, and we have a Porsche that is already in top 10, and the Porsche belongs to Ernestas Andrijauskas. And let me remind you about the prize that we are giving out today for one lucky winner. The pack of from febi, and the question is what area does febi specialize in the passenger car and commercial vehicles segment? If you know the answer, please let us know in the comments, and we will pick out one winner at the end of the race. The comments must be written on World Sim Series Facebook page after the live broadcast that you can watch. Everyone is still out on track. Tauras Gudinavičius just came back to pits for a set of fresh tires, and he will have a last chance to try and be the fastest guy on track. Karolis Jovišas is still leading the qualifying session, so he's currently on the penultimate pole position, and that is looking fine for this driver. And it's pretty crucial on this track to start as far as possible, because there will be there will not be a lot of opportunities for overtakings, so this is one of the crucial parts of today's race. The race will be 1 hour long with one needed pit stop, so everyone will stop for some refueling and new set of tires. The pit window will open after 20 minutes of the race will pass. That means that if anyone stops earlier, the stop will not count and they will have to stop again. This track is very harsh on the tires, so tire saving and strategy is another very important point for this race, and let's hope that every driver has dialed or tuned in their strategies very well, because well, you need to think about it during the race. If you try to drive too fast, or if you fight too much with other drivers, you might wear your tires out too soon, and at the end of the stint, for example for the TCR cars, the tires should last for about 20 minutes, and then the rest time with the old tires will be very hard, and the car will slide around more and be slower and might run slower for about 1.5 seconds. So you have to be very accurate with the strategy that you choose if you want to finish as fast as possible. We have a new driver that currently jumped into the top 10, that's Haroldas Jotautas, and this is a very nice time. From this driver, Dzintars Rides jumps into 7th position, so there's nice battles going on in the qualifying session. We have another driver that was promoted from Division 2 after the first race, Andrius Šliumba. He's currently running in 13th position, but he's trying and doing his best to try and start as high as possible. Of course, the Porsche have a nice advantage. They do make nice starts while the TCR cars spin their tires. The rear-wheel driven GT4 cars may jump and accelerate much easier. Of course, we will have to watch out for the action, because it might be dangerous, because the first corner is right behind the start procedure. So all the Porsche drivers will have to be very careful. The qualifying time has run out, and we have Karolis Jovaiša on penultimate pole position. Edvinas Žadeikis has finished his run, and he did not match the speed of the leader. Tauras Gudinavičius is currently in the pit lane, while Karolis Jovaiša is still running, and he try to better his result. Let's jump on board and ride along with Karolis Jovaiša around Nemuno Žiedas racetrack. A unique circuit which is very different from most racetracks. Simonas Urbonas betters his lap time. He jumps into position number 6, overtaking Tomas Halonen, although he did not match the pace of Ernestas Andrijauskas. Karolis Jovaiša seems to be running a little bit slower than his fastest lap, so he may not better the lap time, and he ends his run. And we have drivers that are still running. Ernestas Andrijauskas is looking pretty good. He might better his result a little bit after he crosses the line. And no, we do not see the better result. So there we go. This is the qualifying session. Hello again. Forgot to turn on the sound, and we are ready for racing. The cars are standing on the hill. They will run down the hill straight into the first chicane. We will need to watch out the Porsche cars because they will make much better start than the TCR cars, and we will have to see if everyone will be able to run the chicane clean. We can jump back into the track, wait for the lights are out, and the lights are out and we are racing. There's nice start from Karolis Jovaiša. Simonas Urbanas is already under attack. There are some incidents and these guys have to be careful. The start and finish line is right after the chicane, and if you cut it you may get a penalty which may lead to a disqualification. Let's see if everyone made it clearly. We had some contacts, we had some guys who had to let it go, get off the accelerator, but it looks like everyone is running. We have 18 drivers from 19 drivers. I don't see Davidas Šmigelskis. Oh, there he is in 13th position. So 18 drivers are racing. Karolis Jovaiša is running first. No drama for that driver. We have Ernestas Andrijauskas who managed to overtake Tomas Halonen during the start, but he has to defend his position. But as said before, it's pretty easy to defend, or otherwise it's pretty hard to attack your opponent. We see some contacts. There are incident points given for every contact. Kasparas Vaškelis is running wide and a little bit onto the grass. Nothing dramatic. Tomas Halonen manages to squeeze by Ernestas Andrijauskas after he slides around the track on his cold Porsche GT4 tires, and he's dropping position, and he is down into the 6th position after the first lap. So he made one position good after the start. And we have one driver, that was Mick Matten, I guess, who was running very wide, and he is losing lots of positions. He's down to position number 16. There are lots of battles going on right now on the track. We have Andris Šliumba battling Algirdas Sabutis for position number 11. Algirdas Sabutis makes a small error and he dropped into 13th position right behind the car of Davidas Šmigelskis. This is a nice battle going down the straight right into the chicane turn where Davidas Šmigelskis closes the door and he stays in position number 12. So nice and clean racing. We had some small contacts in the first lap, but nothing dramatic, as we have seen 2 weeks ago, where a lot of crashes did happen. Someone ran very wide. That was Zintar's rides in one of the tricky corners of Nemuno Žiedas racetrack, and there is a nice battle for the lead. This time Edvinas Žadeikis makes no mistakes and he is very close to his main rival Karolis Jovaiša, and he leaves him no space. So any small mistake from the leader may cost him the first place, which he is very eager to defend after the nice win in the Bikernieki racetrack. But having Edvinas Žadeikis behind you is a nice task, and you have to hold it all together. The difference between real world and sim racing is your consciousness and the feelings that you get when driving the car. You do not have the adrenaline rushing through your blood, so this means that it's more complicated to concentrate on the things that you are doing, and the pressure from Edvinas Žadeikis is everything that he needs right now to try and take the lead of the FEBI Champions League Grand Prix, round second of the BaTCC Championship run on Nemuno Žiedas racetrack. And And it's looking all very good for these two drivers, especially for Edvinas Žadeikis, who is running very close to the leader. Let's jump back into a fight between Kasparas Vaškelis, who is running 5th, and he is chasing Tomas Halonen for position number 4. Kasparas Vaškelis lost some places after the start, and he is trying to recover. That's a nice performance and a great run so far for this driver. He had some bad luck in the first round with 2 huge crashes who did not let him try and drive as fast as possible with a broken car. And it looks like to be a different day today. 5th place at the moment, and a nice performance, and he is already on the chase after the 4th place Tomas Halonen. We can see his teammate Tauras Godinavičius. Both of them run the Dream to Drive team. He is a little bit further in front. Ernestas Andrijauskas, the guy that finished in 2nd place in the 1st division of the first round, is currently running 6th, but there might be some performance change somewhere later in this race. The TCR cars should wear out their tires a little bit faster, and they will become slower towards the end of the first stint. So let's stay with these drivers. I think that the mission for the Porsche drivers is to stay as close as possible to the TCR cars, because there will come a chance for them to try and overtake their rivals. Oh, and we have Haroldas Jotautas, who currently made a mistake. He was overtaken by the promoted guys from 2nd division after first race. Tomas Juravičius and Andrius Šliumba are looking very strong today. Tomas Juravičius made a small mistake, and there's a little contact between him and Andrius Šliumba, which ends Tomas Juravičius' performance. He dropped into 13th position. Let me check how many incident points did this driver collect. 3 of them. So that was a nasty crash and in a fairly safe place. Well, you cannot call very safe, but these drivers may have left more room for each other to try and stay out of trouble. Sadly, that's not the case for Tomas Juravičius. Later, after the race, there will be reports given from the drivers, and the stewards will have a lot of work to do. And we have another nasty crash. Davidas Šmigelskis ran wide, and one of the main contenders for the championship, Simonas Urbanas, was a victim of it, and he did not have nowhere to go. He hit Davidas, and that's an end for a great result for this driver. Let's hope he will be able to recover after this crash. The race is still miles away from finish. There is a pit stop to go, so there's still some chances for this driver to better his result, other than he is in the moment. He's running only in 16th place. We already have one driver less than we had at the start. Our wildcard driver, Džiugas Tovilavičius, the champion of the year 2019. TCR Baltic Series did not start this race. I'm not sure what problems did he have, but he is not running here at the moment. I hope he will still have chances to run on Nemuno Žiedas racetrack this year, because there is a event in the plans. There should be a race held on the 27th of June by BaTCC series, so we are hoping and having our finger crossed that we will see most of these drivers in the real world after a couple of weeks. Let's continue with our racing. Kasparas Vaškelis is still after the chase for position number 4. He's running very close to the driver of Tomas Halonen. Both of them compete in real world in TCR cars. One of them is driving a Seat Leon Cupra TCR. The driver is Kasparas Voškelis, while Tomas Halonen is driving a nice Volkswagen GTI TCR car in real world Black Rose Racing team. These drivers are battling for top positions, and currently this is position number 4. Ernestas Andrijauskas is trying his best to stay as close as possible and waiting for the moment when the tires are going to change the condition, and the Porsche cars should become a little bit faster than the TCR cars. Currently the TCR cars are running a little bit faster than the main rivals, but that's only for a short moment of time, and everything will change. The leaders are running identical lap times. The difference is very small, and Edvinas Žadeikis is only 7/10 behind Karolis Jovaiša. I think Kasparas Voškelis is saving his tires at the moment. He's not planning any attacks, although he might wait for a mistake of Tomas Halonen, and that's what he is trying to do, but nothing dramatic. He doesn't want to lose time while trying to overtake the guy in front of him, because that would hurt the result a little bit more. Ernestas Andrijauskas would certainly use that. As soon as Kasparas Voškelis would start an overtaking maneuver, both of these cars would start losing some time to its rivals. We have some nice battles on track. Justas Stačiokas is pressuring Algirdas Sabutis for position number 9. And Edvinas Žadeikis was a little bit faster the last lap around, only by 1/10 of a second, so there's a nice battle building out for the lead at the moment. Let's wait and see what happens during the pit stops, because I am certain that Edvinas Žadeikis will not try to overtake Karolis Jovaiša on track at this very moment. The same as Kasparas Voškelis, he does not want to lose time or wear the tires out, because if you are attacking someone, you are driving some sharper lines and causing more damage to your tires, and that's not needed at the beginning of the race, especially when you have 6 seconds gap between you and the third place Tauras Gudinavičius. Justas Stačiokas is losing a bit time. Zintar's right has dropped to final position, and this is position number 18. So the driver from Latvia, who has some real racing experience, but specializes or concentrates into sim racing at this moment. He's very fast, but he seems to be running out of luck in most of the races. The first race was really bad. He had a lot of incidents and contacts, and it looks like it's the same result at the moment for this driver. The last 5 drivers should be demoted to division number 2 after this race, and the first 5 drivers from division number... Okay, let me start it all over again. The last 5 drivers from division number 1 will be demoted to division number 2, and vice versa. The first 5 drivers from second division are going to start the race, the third round, in division number 2. In division number 1, I'm not sure why it's so hard to pronounce this at the moment. Let me take a look how things are evolving in the second division. Andrejs Laipnieks is currently leading it with Tadas Gedminas in second place. We have 18 drivers in the second division, and we have a division number 3 race going on at the very same moment. Let's concentrate on what's happening in the division number 1, where the fastest BaTCC championship drivers are battling each other, and we have a nice battle between Algirdas Sabutis and Justas Stačiokas. While Algirdas Sabutis might be already experiencing some problems with his tires, because Justas Stačiokas seems to be running a little bit stronger at the moment. Let's ride on board with Algirdas Sabutis and watch the back. This is the view that he sees in his rear view mirror, and that's looking pretty dangerous. A nice and fast purple Porsche GT4 car is extremely close, and now Justas Stačiokas is trying to use all the space of the track for his advantage, to try and find the smallest gap that he would need to make the overtake stick. But that's not happening at the moment, because, well, that's not your everyday usual racetrack. That's Nemuno Žiedas, located near Kaunas. It's a fast, quite narrow track with fast sweeping corners. The slowest corner on track is the one that we just made, the chicane curve turn. And these drivers made it stick very nice through that chicane. And Vytautas Sabutis, the brother of Algirdas Sabutis, is driving a Porsche car in this series, and he currently lost a position. Apparently he made a mistake that let Simonas Urbonas get back to 6th place. The driver that was a victim of an accident on track, and he just ran into Davidas Šmigelskis because he had nowhere to go, and that was the day for this guy. Of course, he's still running, but the position he's currently in is not the one that he would want to. Haroldas Jotautas was shortly off the track. He made a mistake, or was there a contact? I think not. There was a bigger gap between him and other drivers, so there should this one should be his own fault. He dropped into 10th position, and he is continuing to run, although he got back to the track right in front of Davidas Šmigelskis and Tomas Jurevičius. These two drivers are battling for position number 11. Tomas Jurevičius was another victim of a contact between him and Andrius Šliumba on one of the hilly sections of the track. Tomas Jurevičius looking very aggressive. He dives into the inside of the stadium corner, and does he make the move stick? He runs a little bit wide because he braked much later than Davidas Šmigelskis. They running side by side, but the better line belongs to Tomas Jurevičius, the Ąžuolas turn. And we have a position change. Tomas Jurevičius promoted from division number 2 after first round. He has to defend his position. Davidas Šmigelskis holds the inside line into the turn of Šakė, and Davidas Šmigelskis makes it stick, so that's a nice battling, but you can already see how much time these guys are losing when they are battling each other, because our wildcard driver Mick Maten is already on the tail of these drivers, and if they will continue to change the positions, they will lose it. Okay, we have a driver that is a lap down. Mick Maten is further behind. I think this is Dzintars Raits, the Latvian driver. Yes, that's his livery. So he's a lap down. He apparently was in an accident which made him lose a lot of time. Tomas Jurevičius strikes back, the driver that has been racing in real world for a couple or more years, so he has lots of experience, and he is a talented young driver, and you can see that straight on from his performance. The position that he is currently running at is not the one that he was running in. After an incident with Andrius Šliumba, he dropped lots of positions down, and now he is trying to recover from that incident, and it's looking pretty good for this driver. He's currently running in 11th place, one place short for the places where points are given out to drivers. Top 10 drivers will get points for this race, and they will count towards the championship. Of course, There were some accidents on track, and I am sure that there will be some reports after the race where stewards will have to look every incident through and decide which penalties should be given out to whom. That we will know just after the race, maybe tomorrow, but first we have to finish this one to know the results, while Justas Stačiokas is still in the battle between him and Algirdas Sabutis, and Justas Stačiokas runs a little bit wide, so he was too aggressive to the Ąžuolas turn. You can see him ending in the gravel. That was for a short period of time, so nothing dramatic. He still continues his performance, although he lost some time, and that lets Haroldas Jotautas run a little bit closer to him. Mick Maten is running off track, sliding around the grass, and he gets back to the track, although he loses one position to the driver of Simonas Urbonas. And Simonas is trying to recover, and that's the second driver, and he was a total victim of one accident that occurred earlier on. Ernestas Andrijauskas starting to use the performance the advantage that he should have at the moment. His tires should be in a much better shape than the ones on Kasparas Vaškelis TCR car, and you can already see it. Kasparas Vaškelis is not able to run as smooth through the corners as Ernestas Andrijauskas is able to, but Ernestas Andrijauskas is too aggressive on his accelerator, and running out of Ąžuolas turn, he managed to go a little bit sideways, which cost him some time, but he's still on a nice and hard chase for position number 5. You can see him sticking his car a little bit better to the fast sweeping turns on the hilly section of the track, and he is on a nice chase for position number 5, which leaves Tuomas Halonen with a nice result at the moment. He has a 2 seconds gap between him and Kasparas Vaškelis, the driver who is in a battle for defending the 5th place that he is running on. That's a nice race for the young Lithuanian. He can enjoy it finally, because the last race a couple of weeks ago was not running to plans. He was in a couple of accidents, and that damaged his car twice during the race, and that did not let him to finish with a nice result. Algirdas Sabutis and Mick Maten used the pit window open time and made their pit stop, so that leaves these two drivers with a whole 40 minutes in this session to try and finish it, while Ernestas Andrijauskas is looking very, very badly at this moment. It seems that Tuomas Halonen made a mistake somewhere on the track. The gaps decreased between these drivers, so may we see a 3-car battle for 4th position. Let's hope so. Tuomas Halonen is still holding the edge over these two drivers, but the gap reduces. Kasparas Vaškelis is giving all that he has. You can tell them from the lines that he is running right now. He's running very wide, which means he tries to run as fast as possible. And there's the attack from Ernestas Andrijauskas. He picks the outside line to the stadium corner, which is a very fast left-hand corner running down the hill, and he did not make the car stick on that corner, but there's the dive to Ąžuolas corner, and it looks like Ernestas Andrijauskas may go side by side with Tauras Gudinavičius, who still is holding the edge. There was a small contact between these drivers, and an apology comes from Ernestas Andrijauskas. Well, that's a nice performance from Ernestas. He's flashing his headlights, not sure what he means with that. I think he wants to disturb the concentration from Kasparas Vaškelis, and I do not remember if I ever seen Ernestas Andrijauskas being so aggressive, but still being very, very sportsman. Nice battle. These guys lost a little bit of time while they were fighting each other. But nothing dramatic. Tuomas Halonen still holds a 1.5 seconds edge over these drivers that are continuing to fight. Maybe Kasparas Vaškelis has a little bit more aggressive setup of the car. Maybe he has too much of camber or some stuff, because it looks like that the tires of this driver lost the performance a little bit faster than the other than the other tires from other TCR drivers. So he managed to squeeze a bigger gap, while Simonas Urbonas continues his recovery. He's up into 11th place. He managed to overtake Davidas Šmigelskis with Tomas Jurevičius already in top 10. There was some sort of mistake from the driver of Edvinas Žadeikis. He was 6/10 slower, and let's get back to the battle for 5th place. And there's no battle. Kasparas Vaškelis jumps into the pit lane for his pit stop, and these drivers are forced to make a pit stop because it's in the rules. You have to stop at least once during the race to make your result count. There are incident points given out to drivers for contacts, and the maximum you can gather is 16. So as it stands at the moment, the driver with most incident points is Simonas Urbonas. He has them 11. You get 1 incident point for a small contact and 2 incident points for a bigger contact, so you have to be very careful if you do not want to be disqualified from the race sooner as it finishes. We should see more cars coming into the pit lane soon. Pretty soon. I think the leaders will choose a 50-50 strategy. At least I think so. They should make a pit stop at around 30 minutes till the end of the race. They are saving the tires, and that's very, very crucial for the race to last. Andrius Šliumba, the driver from Lithuania who is driving a Porsche car, makes his penultimate pit stop, makes his first pit stop that is needed, and that's an early one, I should say. Maybe he got some damage on his Porsche car, because these Porsche drivers should be the ones that will stop a little bit later. The tires are lasting on these cars, so they can make the pit stop later to have to refuel the car a little bit less. Karolis Jovaiša is overtaking a lapped driver, Dzintar Straits, who was out of the track, and it looked a little bit dangerous. Edvinas Žadeikis jumps into the pit lane, so that's a nice strategy change. I think there was nothing more for this driver to do than to try and drive a different strategy than the leader, and this is his chance to try and go into the first place after the pit stop. He will get a new set of tires, which will let him drive a little bit faster than the leader, so with a one or a couple of laps, that might be an advantage. Let's wait and see how Karolis Jovaiša responds to the move of Edvinas Žadeikis, but it looks really, really interesting. Edvinas Žadeikis down into 5th place. He has to defend. He's very slow coming out of the pit lane, so that's a little bit of bad luck. He defends from Haroldas Jotautas. Edvinas Žadeikis is running on cold tires. Justas Stačiokas is very close to him, so until Edvinas Žadeikis tire temperatures will pick up the temperature, until the tires of Edvinas Žadeikis will pick up the temperature, he will not have the speed that he wants to, and he has to be defensive, and that's costing him time. So we will see if this was a good strategic move. He's still under pressure from Justas Stačiokas, while Karolis Jovaiša is continuing to run on his planned strategy, so that is a nice move and nice scenes for the second round of BaTCC Championship. It looks like Edvinas Žadeikis is already on a better temperatures on his tires. He starts to close the gap between him and Haroldas Jotautas, and we have Tomas Halonen and Justas Stačiokas coming into the pit lane and battling each other a little bit. Simonas Urbonas climbs up the ladder. He's up into 7th place, but he will need to make a stop, so that's not the final position at the moment for the driver. The plan of Edvinas Žadeikis, it looked very nice, but he has to make a move and make it very fast if he wants to make his strategic move stick, his strategy plan work. So let's stay with this battle, and the leader Karolis Jovaiša comes into pit lane and does it not very clean. He hit the virtual wall coming into the pit lane, and he will need to repair his car. I see a window scratched, and let's see how it goes. Karolis Jovaiša is moving, and I think he did not manage to fix his car. Let's wait and see how this plays out. Karolis Jovaiša coming out of the pit lane. Edvinas Žadeikis on the attack of Haroldas Jotautas. Haroldas Jotautas moves to side. He does not play in the fight for the lead, and Edvinas Žadeikis squeezes by Karolis Jovaiša, who is on cold tires. So the strategic plan did work for Edvinas Žadeikis. That's a nice move, and he did not have to make a overtake on track. All he had to do is stop a little bit over sooner and outsmart his main rival Karolis Jovaiša. So that's a nice shaping of this race, and Edvinas Žadeikis already starting to build the gap over him and Karolis, who is running on the cold tires. You can see him sliding around, and let me put you on board with him. You can see that his window is scattered, and that was because he hit the wall coming into the pit lane for the tire change and fuel fill up. So there's a slowdown made on this virtual track for the drivers to not fly into the pit lane, which Karolis Jovaiša was a little bit too aggressive. Tauras Gudinavičius, we lost one driver. He disconnected from the server. What happened there? Maybe some problems with connection. He was running 9th. He had only 2 incident points, so that's clearly not a penalty for incidents. So not everything goes well for Tauras Gudinavičius, who was running very strong at the first round of this championship, and he was running pretty strong today. He was in 3rd place, and now it leaves Kasparas Vaškelis running in 4th, but when Tomas Juravičius will come into the pit lane for his pit stop, Kasparas Vaškelis should go up 1 place and be in 3rd. So let's ride a little bit with Tomas Juravičius. He has some lapped cars behind him. He is in 3rd position, and with a 8-second gap between him and Kasparas Vaškelis. Edvinas Žadeikis won fastest lap, so 1 minute 11 seconds and 7 tenths. He was 2 tenths faster than Karolis Jovaiša, and it looks like Karolis is able to run pretty fast, although there should be some problems on the car after he hit the wall. The damage should do its job. Simonas Urbonas, another driver who is out of the race. What's happening here? Simonas Urbonas has 11 incident points, so that's not a disqualifying like Tauras Gudinavičius. So these drivers might be experiencing some problems with their setup, or there was maybe a penalty collected for cutting the track and not being able to slow down before the start-finish line, which is straight after the chicane. You have to be very careful not to cut the track, because then the driver gets a penalty warning and he needs to slow down to 35 kilometers per hour. So if they do not manage to do this task, they are disqualified automatically. Karolis Joviša strikes back 1 minute 11 and 6/10, so the damage is not causing any slowdowns for this driver, maybe some uncomfortabilities with driving and seeing the views through the scattered windshield. So let's wait for the end of the race. We are going to see a nice on-track battle between the leaders. Let's ride on board with Tomas Halonen, who is in a chase for position number 6. He is behind Andrius Šliumba, who is running a decent race today. Of course, the incident with Tomas Jurevičius counts, and I think there will be some consequences after the race. There might be time penalties for the drivers who caused some accidents on track. Dzintars Raits is moving to side. Another dramatic race for the Latvian driver. He has the pace, he is very fast, but he's always seems to be running out of luck, and he ends the race at the end of the field. Tomas Halonen sees Andrius Šliumba sliding all around the track in front of him, and he is eager to drive very smoothly on track and try and get his chance. Tomas Jurevičius dives into the pit lane. As said before, Kasparas Vaškelis is our new 3rd place holder. Let's hold our fingers crossed for this young Lithuanian driver who is showing us a nice performance on this race today. Our main sponsor of this event, Febi, is giving away a nice package of prizes for the one poor person who will answer a question on the World Sim Series Facebook page after the live broadcast. What area does Febi specialize in? If you know the answer, let us know in the comments, and there will be one lucky winner who will be chosen after the race, and I will announce him. So stay active and write your answers. Andrius Šliumba is going nice, smooth and very defensive. He has a fast Finnish driver behind him, Tomas Halonen, a driver who has major experience in racing in real life. His real racing car is a TCR, but from another manufacturer, so Tomas Halonen knows what he is driving pretty well. He needs to hold everything together and try to run as smooth as possible, but it looks like at this moment that it is going to be a nice result for this driver. With 22 minutes to go for this race, there's still plenty of time to make the moves stick, and Tomas Halonen was very close at the corner of Ąžuolas. He is on a fresh set of tires at the moment, and they should still be performing at the maximum performance possible. There's a battle over the lead at the moment. Edvinas Žadeikis is still holding the edge over Karolis Joviša, but Karolis Joviša is able to drive a little bit faster at the moment. We will see which driver will fit better on the used tires. Andrius Šliumba going nice and defensive, coming into the last chicane of the track, and he does it very, very well. He leaves no space for Tomas Halonen to try and attack him. But I think Andrius Šliumba did not yet make his pit stop that he is needed to do. So he will make it, and he will lose the position, I am assuming, which will leave Tomas Halonen in 5th place, and he will be chased by Ernestas Andrijauskas, who finished 2nd in the first race or first Grand Prix of the BaTCC Championship 2 weeks earlier at Bikernieki racetrack. And there's a nice and intense battle between the leaders. Edvinas Žadeikis was 3/10 slower last lap around, so it's shaping up very, very nicely. We see Simonas Surbonas coming back to race, so there was certainly some technical issues for the driver that caused him leave the race. So that's a very bad luck for the Lithuanian driver, who was one of the main contenders for the win of this championship. Tomas Halonen seems he forced himself into a mistake while he was chasing Andrius Šliumba. He opened up the gap a little bit to 1.5 seconds, and this leaves him to try and be defensive in a couple of moments. Let's ride on board with Haroldas Jotautas, who is chasing Justas Stačiokas, and that's a battle for position number 8. Tomas Jurevičius, after his pit stop, is back into position number 10, and he's doing pretty good. Simonas Surbonas is still in pit lane. I think he is deciding at the moment whether he should race or not. And let's jump to these two drivers, Karolis Jovaiša and Edvinas Žadeikis, with the current guy holding the lead after a nice and after a nice strategic move. He made his pit stop a little bit earlier than Karolis Jovaiša, which let him hold the edge over the leader. And after the mistake that Karolis Jovaiša made coming into the pits, he was a little bit too aggressive and braked too late. He hit a wall that is meant to slow down the drivers entering the pit lane, and we have a scenario that's going on right now. Karolis Jovaiša seems to be having no problems with his car apart the scattered window, and he is able to put a nice pressure on the leading guy, Edvinas Žadeikis. Let's try and race a little bit with Karolis Jovaiša, and you can see that the window is scattered, but it's not causing any slowdowns for him, and the pressure that he's putting on Edvinas Žadeikis looks to be working very well at the moment. Edvinas was whole 4/10 slower last lap around. I'm not sure what's causing this. Is it the pressure that Edvinas is feeling, or is it another strategic move? There are a lot of strategy options for this race, and Edvinas might be saving his tires for the end, or he might just be losing his concentration because he has a very fast guy behind him, and that leaves Edvinas Žadeikis to making some small mistakes, and the gap is only 3/10 at the moment, and with 18 minutes left for racing, there's still plenty of time for these guys to battle each other, and who knows how this battle can end. Lap by lap, Karolis Jovaiša is coming closer to Edvinas Žadeikis, and Karolis Jovaiša was braking very late. He got his car going sideways. There was no incident between these drivers, but Karolis Jovaiša is already trying to strike. He is running very close to Edvinas Žadeikis. Only 1/10 is separating these drivers, and there's no space on this place of track to try and overtake. And let me remind you, the leading guy is Edvinas Žadeikis with lots of experience, and he for sure knows how to be defensive. One car is going to be lapped at the moment, and almost a crash. The guy tried to stay away from this fight, and it almost led to Karolis Jovaiša hit him, but these guys ran that good, and well, Karolis looked to be on a attacking mode, but that option, what happened on track, seems to take away the chance to attack on that lap for Karolis Jovaiša. things are still going very, very intense, and Karolis Jovic seems to be running on a much faster pace at the moment, although Edvinas Žadeikis feels very comfortable defending his position. But with the time that is still left for this race, a whole 15 minutes, there's, well, a lot that can happen, and Karolis Jovic will try and repeat the same move. He's very close to Edvinas Žadeikis, to Ąžuolo chicane, and he was forced into a small mistake, but that was controlled very nicely, and now he is running very close, but I say he's a little bit too far behind to make the move stick. The lines of these drivers is a little bit sharper at the moment. Edvinas is turning a little bit earlier into the corner to try and defend the inside line, and he's doing that perfectly. And although Karolis Jovic is running very, very close, there is no space left for him to try and jump into the lead. So this is a really nice battle, and I'm just thinking how long this will continue. Karolis Jovic a little bit wide through the last turn, nothing dramatic. He's still within the set limits of the virtual racetrack. He is able to continue with his pace, and he is still very close to Edvinas Žadeikis, and being a little bit faster is not a very easy task to overtake the leading guy. In the meanwhile, Andrius Šliumba is running fourth, and Tomas Halonen is still very close to him. Another overtaking maneuver. This time Karolis Jovic manages to run side by side with Edvinas Žadeikis into the chicane corner. Karolis Jovic almost off the track. Edvinas Žadeikis holds the edge, and that's another nice defensive move. With no space left for Karolis Jovic to overtake these guys. You should watch this fight, and it's all from the books. The defending moves that Edvinas Žadeikis is performing are very, very nice and clean, and he's placing his car in the perfect positions on track to help him defend the position. But that's not over yet. With having the winner of the first event, Karolis Jovic, behind you, that's not the end. Karolis will try and strike back again, and knowing that the tires on these cars will get worse and worse towards the end of the race, these moves will be a little bit harder to perform, because the car will slide around and will be less controllable. So let's watch these guys. There's a gap opened up a little bit to 6/10, so these guys should rethink their strategy, maybe save the tires a little bit at this moment and try to repeat the same moves towards the end of the race. Let's jump into another battle on track. Tomas Halonen chasing Andrius Šliumba, and Ernestas Andrijauskas running pretty close to this battle. So three cars battling for position number 4, and I did not see Andrius Šliumba making his pit stop, but that might not be the case. I might just miss it, so let's wait and see a little bit. Will Andrius Šliumba make his pit stop, or is he defending his 4th position with no pit stop needed to be made anymore? And that's another nice battle, and you can see that Ernestas Andrijauskas, running in 6th position, was faster the last lap around, so he is reducing the gap to the guys in front, so that should leave us with 3-car battle for position number 4 towards the end of the race. While the leaders are getting closer together one more time. Only 3/10 of a gap between the leaders, and here comes an attack move from Tomas Halonen. He chooses the outside line, which should is the harder one, and Thomas Halonen does not make his car stick. He's off the track onto the grass and loses the position to Ernestas Andrijauskas, and Ernestas Andrijauskas only can say a big thank you to Thomas Halonen, who was tired running behind Andrius Šliumba and decided to risk and make a move which did not stick, and Ernestas Andrijauskas is promoted to position number 5. And that's a nice outcome for this driver. He finished second in the first race, and he is on a strong performance here today. The Porsche cars have a bigger ballast for this race, 30 kilograms. As you may know, these cars are from different classes, but the balance of performance made these cars equal to each other. They have advantages and misadvantages against each other. The Porsche car should be a little bit faster. It has more power under the hood, and it is driven by rear wheels, but it is made a little bit slower to try and compete against the TCR cars, which apparently is looking to work pretty nicely. Ernestas Andrijauskas is already on the tail of the driver Andrius Šliumba, so Andrius Šliumba is has to be defensive one more time, and this time it's another driver and not Thomas Halonen. Let's get back to the leaders. These guys are battling each other one more time. Karolis Jovaiša is running very close again, but Edvinas Žadeikis, as usual, is leaving no space for Karolis Jovaiša to try and get his car side by side with the leader to try and make better lines to make the overtake. That should be a nice pressure for Edvinas Žadeikis for the second half of the race, after he jumped to the lead after his better strategy move, and now he is only being very defensive. You can see that the speed and the pace of the leaders has already dropped, meaning that the tires are beginning to wear out, and this hard battling of each other might cause some more damage for the tires, and I am not sure if these tires will be able to last till the end of the race, so watch out and let's see what happens with Kasparas Vaškelis running in third place. Might it be a surprise? We do not know that yet, but there's not much time left to go, only 9 minutes till the end of the race, and these two drivers are battling pretty hard, but still doing it very clean. Edvinas Žadeikis has 0 incident points, and Karolis Jovaiša has 1 incident point that he got after the start. Apparently he was hit a little bit by some other drivers, so these drivers are driving very close to each other and still avoiding contacts. That's how you do it, and that's a real professional sportsmanship. And let's hope it stays like this towards the end of the race. But having a faster guy behind you and seeing that the time is sticking out, who knows what these drivers might think of. It's a nice battle to watch, and this is the battle for the lead, and it's going on already for some 20 minutes. And one more time, Karolis Jovaiša running very close, but there's no space left on the track to try and place the car side by side with the leader, but there's still some laps left to do, and with the tires wearing out already, there's more place for error to be made, and let's wait and see how this folds out towards the end of the race. The chicane, Edvinas Žadeikis was braking very late. The car was a little bit twitchy through the fast sweeping corners, but he still manages to hold it together. I'm watching at the battle between Andrius Šliumba and Ernestas Andrijauskas. The gap is pretty small at the moment, and there should be a fight after a couple of laps for position number 4. Kasparas Vaškelis, running in 3rd place, is pretty safe. He has more than 11 seconds gap between him and Andrius Šliumba. And we are approaching a lapped car who runs off track and tries to stay off the battle for the lead. That was Vytautas Sabutis, so that was a nice and gentleman move. He does not want to ruin the race for the leaders, and he went just off the track. So these drivers are really nice and performing gentleman moves. And I think that will stay as it is. No place for Karolis Jovaiša to try and make the move stick, but there is still some time left, and I know that Karolis Jovaiša does not want to give up. He does not want to finish second. Will we see a move into the first turn, which is very fast? No, Karolis rejects it, although it looked for a moment that he will go for that. He needs to find another place to send it, a popular phrase that Formula 1 drivers are loving to use in the recent year. And that was not the case for Karolis Jovaiša, and these drivers use every inch of the track to be as fast as possible, coming out onto the straights, and they make it stick and they make it perfect, both of them. Karolis Jovaiša running very close, Edvinas Žadeikis seems to be braking a little bit too late, but he still manages to close the inside door, and that leaves Karolis Jovaiša still behind him. Time is ticking out, only 4 minutes left for this race, and Karolis Jovaiša is trying to find new places on track, or all the places on track where he can or could make the move stick and try and overtake the current leader Edvinas Žadeikis. They are running slower times, of course, because they are battling each other and they have worn out tires. Karolis Jovaiša running very close. Edvinas Žadeikis goes defensive very early on to the corner of the stadium and still stays in front. No place on track to try and pass. You can see the sharp lines. Karolis Jovaiša starts to become a little bit aggressive, I should say. He pushes Edvinas Žadeikis. 3 incident points collected in the last lap. That's the outcome of the driving of these drivers. You can see how slowly they became. The lines do not let these drivers drive as fast as they should. Vytautas Sabutis is gaining on them, and there is still plenty of time left for things to happen, but Edvinas Žadeikis does not let to make the move pass. One more time through the chicane, the gap increases a little bit. That's very interesting to say, because the gap is about 1/10 and it increased itself. So that's a very nice battle that is going on for more than 25 minutes between these two drivers that are very fast. The winner of the first round, Karolis Jovaiša, tries to use all of his talent to overtake Edvinas Žadeikis, who is very fast too, and he knows the defensive lines very well. That's a nice battle at the second round, the Febi Champions League Grand Prix between the leaders. The time is ticking out and there is still the fight going on. I'm sure that Karolis Jovaiša will still try and overtake Edvinas Žadeikis, because he's very close to him. He is waiting for a mistake of Edvinas Žadeikis with the worn out tires. Let's wait and see who will manage to drive on the almost dead tires towards the end of the race. 1 minute 25 to go, so there should be 2 laps till the finish line, although I'm not sure if there will be 1 lap added. after the time ticks out. That did not happen at the first round, but it should happen, so we will see how it goes this time. But that's not the last lap yet for sure. There's still plenty time left for these guys to cross the line, while the time will not tick out. And Karolis Jovaiša, he is running so close to Edvinas Žadeikis, it looks like that he's pushing him. Of course, there's some small contacts between them. I see them growing already. Edvinas Žadeikis has 5 incident points, while Karolis Jovaiša has 6 of them. Karolis Jovaiša brakes very, very late. Small contact, Karolis Jovaiša off track. That contact was very small, and the line that Karolis Jovaiša chose to try and overtake this guy did not work. So the 2-second gap will not be reduced anymore because Karolis Jovaiša is not that much faster than Edvinas Žadeikis. So that leaves us with the result. If Edvinas Žadeikis will not make a mistake, he should stay first. Of course, this last contact was very interesting, and these cars were running very close each other. Karolis chose the outside line at chicane turn, which did not work for him at that moment. Let's jump into the battle between two Porsche cars. Andrius Šliumba running fourth, and he has Ernestas Andrijauskas running very close to him. Tomas Halonen is further back. He is in 6th place, and he made a mistake somewhere because he is more than 7 seconds behind these guys, while Ernestas Andrijauskas is looking very, very racy. He was in this position for the last 8 laps, and he is still not able to overtake Andrius Šliumba. He uses his headlights to try and disturb the concentration of the leading guy, and there comes the move from Ernestas Andrijauskas. That looked very nice. He wanted to jump into the inside of the track. Andrius Šliumba was a little bit too far away to make the move stick. The time is running out, and let's see what happened. This is the final lap, so Edvinas Žadeikis crosses the line. And what happens next? Is it the finish? Yes, that's the finish. Edvinas Žadeikis wins the race. The second round of the BaTCC Championship Febi Champions League Grand Prix winner Edvinas Žadeikis. Congratulations for this guy. Karolis Jovaiša comes home second. Kasparas Vaškelis crosses the line in 3rd place. A nice performance. Andrius Šliumba holds to the 4th position. What a performance of Andrius Šliumba. Ernestas Andrijauskas comes home 5th. Tomas Halonen with Algirdas Sabutis right on his tail finishes 6th and 7th. Justas Stačiokas is approaching the line in 8th position with Haroldas Jotutas behind him. And we have Tomas Jurevičius who will finish the top 10. But this guy was in an accident, and he was running a little bit further ahead. So let's wait and see what the stewards are going to decide after this race. I am sure they will have a lot of work to do. We had nice battles, we had contacts, but the race is finished, and at the moment it seems that we may congratulate a new winner for the series. Edvinas Žadeikis is the guy. He crossed the line in 1st place. Let's take a look at the results at the moment. These are not official. Edvinas Žadeikis, Karolis Jovaiša. Well, I mentioned all of these drivers before. Mick Matten, our wildcard driver, finishes 14th. Dzintars Raits manages to get back home in 13th position. We have 3 DNFs, Džiugas Tovilavičius, Tauras Gudinavičius, and Simonas Urbanas. They had problems earlier on. Let's take a look what it looks like in the division number 2. Tadas Gedminas, Andrejs Laipnieks, Christian Pintz, Yuri Lapo, and Karolis Pakrosnis is the top 5. It might be that these drivers will be promoted to division number 1 for the next round, which is going to take place after 2 weeks. And let's take a quick look at the calendar. Let me find it on the worldsimseries.com platform, and you can do that too. Just go to worldsimseries.com and find all the info that you need. So we had race number 1, race number 2 already finished, and we are heading towards Estonia racetrack. That the race will be on June 7th, and I will see you then. And this was the race, the second round, the Febi Champions League race with a nice sponsor. And I have one more task to do. Let me wait for a message. And we should know the winner, and the winner of the Febi package should be contacting Baltic Touring Car Championship during their Facebook fan page. Let's take a quick moment for the waiting, and thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to all the racers for this exciting race that we had on this Sunday evening. I'm still waiting for the winner. So, we will announce it later on the comment section on the Facebook page. The person who will win will have to contact Baltic Touring Cars Championship through their Facebook page. We will have the results, I'm guessing, tomorrow, because there will some job left to do. Okay, I have the winner finally, Karolis Bakanauskas. You are the random winner, so congratulations. Please contact Baltic Touring Car Championship through their Facebook fan page, and you will get the details how to receive the prize. Thanks everybody for watching and being with us, and see you in a couple of weeks for the third round of the BaTCC Championship Series.